Alright, so skipping an intro or anything too cringy. This is a follow-up video of the build. I did one when it was stock motor, and obviously things have changed since then. So starting from things that can obviously be seen, there's a DCT or a Deca clutch in the transmission right now. I'm going to take that out and switch it out for Dodson's because we're having an issue with the K1 or clutch one not building enough pressure. As far as anything else goes, obviously new things, we got the BuiltByThomas motor. It's a full built long block with a CNC port head, Carrillo rod, Carrillo piston, ACL rod bearings, OEM main bearings, and some SuperTech head parts. So just spring retainer valves, things like that. A couple things are WPC'd, like the pistons and the caps and whatnot. But as far as most things go, still running the CTS intake manifold. I took the turbo out to sent it off to TPC to go a little bit bigger, but that was a 6266 7-blade comp wheel, or 7+7 comp wheel, and then the traditional 11-blade turbine wheel. Still running CTS MPI, still 1300s at the moment. Still CTS catch can, which is routed down under there to vent to atmosphere. It's got a little filter on it, and then it's got the I have an undershield, a full undershield on the car, with a little diaper just for safety things. As far as most people go, I don't run any coolant on this car. I just run water. It's a little easier with maintenance and whatnot, because then I don't have to clean up coolant all the time. But as far as most things goes, a lot of things are still OEM, still OEM subframe, OEM axles, and OEM drive shaft. This is a DQ381 car, so it's got the good gearing. Still stock transmission, stock bevel box, and whatnot. A couple things are like the Willwood front brakes, and then the base model A3 or Golf rear brakes, which are 272 millimeter. Those are EBC yellow pads and rotors. They're EBC rotors, but EBC yellow pads. As far as most things go, we're just kind of finishing up the setup at the moment. The major holdback was the clutches. With the trans, even with the trans having issues, 100 to 150 was still in the 5s. So with a passenger, so that's good. As far as weight and things go, wheel and tire setup is still the same. I am going to go to a different wheel and tire. I'm going to go to a just a Jag, like spike wheel, which is cheap and whatnot, like 150 bucks, and then just a ET Street R or R888R. I haven't decided yet. Probably get an ET Street R just because they look cooler. As far as new things go, single exit now, 4-inch all the way back, which is good. And then as far as it's got a little bit of weight reduction now. Still from rear seats up is still OEM, but everything rear seats or front seats back is gutted besides the subwoofer. Let me get a light actually. Might make this all one cut just because why not? It'll be a little more authentic. But still some fire residue, so don't mind that. low pressure caught fire at some point. That's when I switched to brushless stuff. But as far as most thing goes, got some sound deadening in here now, just because it's super loud. Didn't make its goddamn difference, but whatever. Probably take that out eventually, but it's nice because it doesn't rattle. This stuff doesn't rattle. But as far as most thing goes, I don't really know how much the car weighs at the moment. My guess is probably around 3,500 pounds when I have my passenger and me in it. As far as fueling goes, we are running a EQT brushless Pro Series low pressure fuel pump. And then I have that tied up with a PM5. As far as the wiring goes, you can obviously see that the pump out here goes to the kind of like a jumper harness type thing for the PM5, excuse me. And then as far as the control goes, it's still a PWM signal, so it runs off of these wires here. So it's kind of like a PM4. If you just kind of follow the procedure for a PM5 install for RS3, and then just kind of piggyback that off of a PM4 install, it's pretty easy. It's not too hard. And then obviously the power wires are ran all the way up to the front of the car for the battery. Things that I am planning on in the future. The video cut out of me, so I ran out of storage. But that's where I left off. Future things, want to go to a air-to-water intercooler. So obviously I have my custom with a K charge pipe, or not charge pipe, intake. And that sits kind of high. It sits a little over the high pressure cap and whatnot. This is all 4-inch, so it's 4-inch in and out of the turbo, which is preferred. But let's try and get this in there a little bit. Kind of, there's just a lot of shit in the way, but it kind of sits something like that. And it sits just below the grill line, so that way it sits right there. But I do want to go to an air-to-water intercooler just because that's a little simpler at this point. Apologies for all the cutting. Keep running out of storage on the phone. But like I said, I want to go to air-to-water intercooler just because it's a lot simpler, especially where this car is headed. When we were on the 6266 Gen 1, we were pushing a lot of hot air, and the IETs were kind of running away from us. And it's not like we have a small intercooler. It's a 22-inch long, 3.5-inch thick, 22 fin intercooler. So it's rated for like 1,000 horsepower with the air, which, I mean, generally we are flowing, especially with how much boost we have to flow through these motors, just to get them to make power, just because of head port and stuff. But even then, we were only running the turbo like 60%, so we need to go to a little bit bigger compressor outducer or compressor outlet, just because we're running, 40 plus pounds out of a relatively small turbo. And since the head flows extremely well now compared to stock, we definitely need that extra headroom. But just going to an air-to-water intercooler will simplify a lot of the setup. So eventually I'll ditch the CTS manifold. I'll get a CNC Innovation Sidewinder manifold, similar to what A to B has on their shop car right now, which is just like a throttle body's over here by my fingers. And then it'll just kind of be turbo out, air-to-water intercooler right here. I'll relocate the battery, and then it'll just be, air in, fat old water to air intercooler, and then straight to the throttle body, which will simplify a lot of the headaches and whatnot there. Plus, I'm not too worried about having the front weight off the car with the big old intercooler, because it's all-wheel drive, and I got that Cyvex all-wheel drive controller and I got that thing dialed in pretty good. So it's hooking on those little 195s over there from, you know, 20 up to 60 rolls, which is, you know, plenty good, especially on the street. Plus with going to the ET Street Rs, won't have any issue hooking, probably from a dig even, but you know, just having that consistency of intake air temps, especially on this platform, it's going to be a big game changer, I think. Hopefully nobody beats me to it, but if they do, then so be it, whatever. Speaking of, you know, probably get a question. Yes, it will be an ice box. So I'll have a ice box in the back of the car. So that way we can just fill it up with ice and just whip it out. And always have some good IETs and whatnot. And that's kind of really everything that's pretty much changed. I know I made it sound like not a lot, and when in reality it is, but I mean, it is what it is. Just kind of have to wait for the Datsun clutches to come in. Those have been ordered for probably like a week and a half now. And then I need to ship the deck of clutches back out. I need to take the clutches out actually, still. But as far as most things go, motor's running great. Got no issues there, probably on the 4th oil change now. Just changed it a lot so that we can keep on top of it, see if there's anything wrong or whatnot. Probably put about 1,000 miles on it, which is plenty good, especially for how this car is going to be treated and everything. Right now, a car's probably making around 690, 700. It's not really where I want it. I want to hit or hang around 820 to 850 wheel. I know most people on this platform be like, oh, you'll never hit that on a 62, 66. And I want to say, hey, fuck you. I'm definitely going to hit that on a 62, 66. Suck my balls. Anyway, especially people like Deloy. I know your bitch ass can watch this. But, and probably some other people in the MQB Drama Kings group chat. But, yeah, I mean, there's not much to really talk about. If any questions in the comments, feel free to shoot them. It's not really much to the car. It kind of looks ugly, but I mean, it works. I work on it myself, so I don't really give a fuck what people think. It's not some shop car bullshit. I run into real problems and take real time to fix them, so it is what it is. Especially since I haven't really raced the car since November, which sucks, but whatever. Gonna try and shoot for end of March to start getting this thing back up together and whatnot, and actually racing. Because really, we already got the tune and everything dialed in. Same thing with the DSG tune. I did switch that. I'm on EQT for DSG tuning right now. Decent right now, just, you know, can only say decent because the clutches are fucked up. Or the clutch 1 clutches are fucked up. So any odd gear stuff, we're having issues. Shifting in and out of the odd gears, especially under load, it's pretty inconsistent. So that's why I can only do 100 to 150. I can't do any 60 to 130 stuff because it doesn't take the hit in 3rd gear because it hits that torque limiter. Because the pressure inside the clutch 1 basket isn't reaching optimal clamping or bar pressure, and so it thinks it's not able to hold whatever torque we're throwing at it, so it cuts. I'm sure I posted try to do a couple 60-130s, and it still cuts out even in 4th, because just the whole basket's kind of screwed up. Deco will fix it, but I just want to go back to OEM basket, so that's why I'm back to, we're going to Datsun's, trying to be a little more OEM. Plus, I'd rather shear the clutch basket lid rather than shearing a fucking gear set. But probably have to blur out that fucking address. But I'd rather shear off these teeth here on the clutch basket cover than actually fuck up transmission, because finding those transmissions is hard as shit. And they cost just as much as a fucking motor, which is ridiculous. But anyway, all for the good gearing. Because fuck a DQ500. Can't understand why anybody fucking does them. And those bitches blow up anyway. Mr. Billy. But anyway, enough bullshit and callouts. No, those guys are gonna run me anyway. But yeah, I mean, not much to really go over. Still will continue to be H&R lowering springs all the way around, stock shocks. I will go to a 529 drag spring in the back, just so it can have more spring rate. I think the rears in the back are the rear spring rate's like 200 or something on the H&R lowering springs, which is pretty ass, especially for how much power it's going to be going through. I can really feel it in the car where I just don't want too much weight transfer, because that was an issue on the 195s when I switched on the stock motor setup, because I had the rear end kick off right at or right when I let off the throttle at like super high speeds, and that would pick the rear end up like kind of like a Honda at a drag strip and just kind of shimmy it. It was kind of sketch. So I kept the rear end in even when I off throttle, and that helped a little bit, but you can still feel it pretty much. Just kind of like, it'll just shock the car forward and just pick up that rear end, because there's no weight back there, which is not enough to keep it planted, and just having that a little extra spring rate would probably help. Plus, I mean, Vargas sells drag shocks or whatever, but those are $1,000, probably not worth it anyway. At least over a coil setup. But like I said, not much to really go over. Still Vargas charge piping, just because it's simple. BFI engine mounts, stage 3 on a motor mount, and then stage 2 on the stage 2 on the dog bone, and then stage 1 on the trans mount. No particular reason why I did that, just kind of how it landed. That fucking Delrin motor mount keeps everything super solid, so there's not much to really move. And this one's probably pretty fucking solid too. You can't really kind of see it move, but not a whole lot. So I mean, that thing's not going anywhere. And then still good on the trans. I put some mech tubes in it, as well as a new mech, and that didn't fix shit. The mech tubes actually made it worse, which is kind of ironic, but hey, whatever. But once we fix that clutch issue, car will be fucking right back. We've already got the tuning and everything figured out, and the low pressure is still plenty fine. We're running that at 80% on the PM5, and it's perfect. We're flowing like 90 PSI up at the rail. Those 1300s are kind of high. They're sitting around like 10 milliseconds right now, even with the 90 bar pressure or 90 PSI line pressure. So just kind of watch it, see what it does. Once we start really ranking on it, starting getting closer to that 800 mark, I feel like we'll probably tap out the 1300s. Have to go to something like an IDX, or maybe we'll try the FIC 1440s. That might give us a little more headroom and probably be fine there. I just don't want to run the fuel system too hot, especially with the air-water intercooler coming, or eventually coming. That'll having those 50-40 degree intake air temps with the ice in it and whatnot. It's really gonna wake the car up even during the summer times and whatnot. Just to do a final recap, OEM battery, OEM transmission, just with dots and clutches, OEM clutch basket, so literally just drop in clutches. Top bottom motors, still stock flywheel, stock direct injectors, stock high pressure fuel pump, CTS manifold, CTS MPI, CTS catch can, and a TPC 6266. We're gonna switch to a 6292 compressor wheel, still 7+7 design, so just 10 mil up on the compressor outlet. And then same turbine wheel, which is 6674, which spools up at like 4,200 RPM with the head, which is ironically better than some hybrids. Not pointing out any fingers, but you know who you are. Still EQT Pro brushless with the PM5, just switch that out. And sneaky on the tuning per usual for the engine. Never switch there, never going anywhere else. Andrew and I have a very good relation and we plan to continue. As far as anything else goes, pretty basic setup. So just wheel wood front brakes for weight reduction, super small tires, 24.5 Toyos with 195. It's 195 55 15. Stud conversion, because fuck a lug bolt. Those bitches suck. And a treadstone front mount intercooler. Can't really see it, but it's hiding halfway behind this fucking front bumper, which is what I hate too. Can't. Ran out of storage one last time, so I'll make it quick. But like I said, probably have the car back up and running hopefully in like 2-3 weeks. Just kind of waiting on the turbo to get back and the clutches to come in. Already got the transmission out, so just need to hot swap the clutches. I already have the OEM basket sitting over there, so just need to pull these out, ship them out to get a new basket, or just have a backup clutch. I'll probably sell those just so I can get a wheel tire setup, but try and recirculate money into the setup. Just easier that way. But like I said, that's about it. So feel free to shoot any questions in the comments. I'll answer everybody, as long as it's not stupid. And I answered in the video, in which I'll probably timestamp it and send you that. But like I said, thanks for watching. I'll try and make a little more content once the cars come back and running. I won't show any times until I start really racing people. I want to come out and start crud racing a little bit, run for money, because there's a couple kids up in Tampa that run their mouth a little too much. So like I said, thanks for watching. See you.